Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Behind the Badge. My name is Jason Ross and I'll be your host for the evening. Tonight we're going to be talking about burglary and theft trends. With me tonight I have Mary Miach of our Community Policing Unit and Detective Mauricio Barba of our Burglary and Auto Theft Unit. We're going to be talking about burglaries, both residential and auto or automobile burglaries. And we're also going to be talking about current theft trends that Detective Barba and CSO Miach are both seeing in their day-to-day duties. Before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to remind everyone that this is a live call-in show. The phone number is 818-548-3344. That's 818-548-3344. And before we get started, why don't we take a minute and introduce yourselves to the viewers at home. Mary, you are a community service officer assigned to cops.
That's right. I've been at the Glendale Police Department for 24 years, and most of my career has been in crime prevention and community policing.
24 years, wow. Mauricio, that's a little tough act to follow there. You're currently assigned to burglary and auto theft?
Yes, I haven't been here 24 years. I've been here for 4 years. I started off working patrol for 3 years. Past year and a half, I've been working burglary and auto theft. Right now I'm specializing in auto theft, so that's where I'm at right now.
All right. Now, Mary, you work in the community policing unit?
Yes.
But you specialize in crime prevention.
Right. I have a dual role. Basically, I'm a crime prevention specialist for the entire city, and that means I do the neighborhood watch, business watch, I do the security checks, and I'm involved in all the city's activities, crime prevention fairs that we host. And then I also, in the office, I'm answering phones for the community, and I'm their resource, actually. So people call in for various things, and I'm able to give them direction of who to call and help them out. Then the community policing aspect, people call with concerns on whether it's a neighborhood issue or different, problems that they're having. And what I do is I refer them to one of our community lead officers, and they will follow up and basically work with that person long term until the problem is resolved.
Okay. Now we got to hear a little bit about what Mary does on a day-to-day basis. Detective Barba, burglary and auto theft, some may not see them as directly related, yet the detail you work in investigates both, and I'm sure both of those encompass quite a bit. Can you tell the viewers at home a little bit about what your day-to-day duties include, what types of crimes you investigate, so they have a good idea the type of questions they can call in with?
Sure. The burglary auto theft detail at the Glendale Police Department consists of 6 investigators. We investigate various crimes, such as residential burglaries, commercial burglaries, which are burglaries that happen at businesses, vehicle burglaries, and of course vehicle theft, which includes anything from chop shop investigations to business inspections. And we also work closely with a LA County-wide task force for regional auto theft prevention, known as TRAP. We also investigate vandalism crimes, and we also have a full-time arson investigator with us. So we've got a full plate.
So it's pretty fair to say that you guys handle most of the property crimes that the average victim would see. Their house broken into, their car broken into, their house or car damaged, vandalism-wise, arson-wise, something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Just about everything along those lines?
Yes.
All right. And Mary here is an expert on preventing those crimes, so hopefully tonight we'll be able to look to her for some advice on how to prevent those things. Mauricio, what are you seeing lately in the current crime trends, the theft trends that are taking place? I take it you get copies of reports that citizens make?
Yes, every day I get copies of reports on my desk. We're seeing pretty interesting crime trends happen right now. One of them, vehicle burglaries are on the rise. There's a big spike right now, and that's not just particular to Glendale. It's happening everywhere. Suspects are looking for any items they can easily sell on the street for profit, including iPods, cameras, laptops, anything, purses. These items are being left in the cars in plain view, and they're being taken from cars. It's very simple to just walk up, and if the car's unlocked, you're making it that much easier for them. They can just smash the window. It takes about 5 seconds. I've seen it done personally. It takes about 5 seconds to burglarize a car and take whatever's inside it. The thieves are commonly targeting vehicles that have these items in plain view. So anything that's easier for them to commit this crime, they're going to do it.
All right. And anything house-wise, residential burglaries, are they remaining pretty consistent? Are you seeing any shifts in rise or decrease, at least in the numbers of them occurring?
It goes up and down. It usually typically during the summer months, during the hotter weather, we see a spike in crime, regardless of what kind of crime it is. But for the most part, residential burglaries are pretty much the same right now.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about car fishing?
Car fishing, that's what I just talked about earlier about leaving your cars unlocked. Actually, this past month we had a crew of juveniles up in the Lockerson area going around, and what they labeled it as car fishing. They would go and check unlocked vehicles, and if a car is left unlocked, they're going to go inside it and they're going to take whatever they can, and they can come up with some pretty expensive stuff. I think out of one car they took $11,000 in cash that was left unlocked.
Wow.
So it's important to lock your vehicles.
Right. I'd like to remind everyone at home that this is a live call-in show. We encourage you to call us with questions. We're going to be talking tonight about some of the things that Detective Barba here is dealing with as far as crime trends. We're going to get a real in-depth on some of the current scams that are taking place, and we're also going to spend some time talking with Mary here about how to prevent those crimes and some of the services that the police department offers for people to partner with us in helping to reduce those crimes and prevent them altogether if we can. The phone number to call in is 818-548-3344. We encourage you to call. It's nice to know what the citizens are thinking at home, and to answer your questions, that's what we're here for. Mary, we just talked about vehicle burglaries being one of the hot topics we're seeing, and numbers of those incidents on the rise. Aside from some of the common things, I mean, locking your car doors seems pretty basic to me. Do you have any other tips about where to park maybe, or things like that that might help reduce someone's car from being broken into?
Absolutely. One thing I noticed when I go through the reports, a lot of residents are parking their cars on the street, and they have garages. They have secure places where they can park their cars. So I would recommend, if you have a garage, have a yard sale, get rid of all that junk, and park your car in there. And that would be, you know, a good way to prevent something like that from happening. A lot of people park in the driveways. That's okay. But again, if they're not locking up and taking out items that are left there on the seat or in the glove compartment, it's just another way someone can get in. At nighttime, the best thing is to park where it's well lit. Park in an area, whether it's on your street or if you go to a shopping mall or a store, market, try to park close as you can to the doors, and park where it's well lit. Lighting, it's a great illumination, and usually no one wants to prowl around where there's light so other people can see them. People that live where they have subterranean garages, make sure again the lighting is working, and if you have any burnouts, report them to your management or to the owner of the property so they can continue to keep it well lit in garages. Because that's someplace where there's usually a lot of burglaries in subterranean garages.
Some of that stuff sounds fairly basic, but as you're sitting here listing off these things, I'm thinking to myself that half the time I park my car, I don't pay any attention to what I leave in it or what the lighting is like. And those are good points that you bring up. Subterranean garages, I remember when I worked in patrol, were huge because it's kind of secluded at night. No one tends to be down in a subterranean garage. They can kind of operate. They tend to be lit sometimes throughout the night, which gives them some light to work by. But notifying the management if a gate's not working properly to help keep those strangers out would probably also be a good point. We've got a short video on auto burglaries, as we refer to them, which when we say that, we're talking about cars being broken into and having items removed. Sometimes, as Mauricio stated, the cars are just left unlocked, in which case they're classified a little differently, but it's all the same crime. So we're going to go ahead and watch that video, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other trends we're seeing. Well, folks, I think we just saw right there exactly how quickly an auto theft or auto burglary can take place. Mauricio, is that pretty common? I mean, that, within the course of that was less than a minute probably, somebody can break into a car and be off with some goods?
It's very common. We see it all the time. Again, like I alluded to earlier, we're going out there doing surveillance on these thieves. We know who some of them are, and we see that happen all the time. We catch them in the act, and we try to get that word out to as many people as we can that they need to keep valuables out of their car, or at least hidden, and their vehicle locked.
Now, when you say valuables, obvious things come to mind: cash, jewelry, laptop computers. I mean, those are huge because they're worth quite a bit of money and they're really easy to grab. Are there any other things that people might not consider valuables that may be in the glove box or center console or something that they need to put somewhere else?
Some of the things that are of value to some criminals are things such as registration cards or certificates of title to their vehicle, or even mail. Social security cards are kept in vehicles. One of the big things right now that I kind of want to talk about is the theft of portable navigation devices. These are the devices that are left up in the window with the suction cup. They're left in cars, and thieves come by. I must get maybe 15 reports a day on these things that being left in on the windshield, and thieves coming by, smashing the window, reaching in and taking the device out, and going off to a pawn shop and selling it there or selling it on the street. But that's a huge item right now, is these navigation devices.
All right. I know from working in patrol that one of the biggest assets we as police officers have in fighting this crime is neighbors and people keeping an eye on what's going on in their neighborhoods. Unknown individuals walking down streets late at night, peering into car windows, trying door handles, doing things like that. Kind of lends me to think that neighborhood watch programs are pretty important, Mary?
Absolutely. Not only for auto burglary and auto theft, but for residential crimes. What Neighborhood Watch is basically is a crime prevention program that we enlist active residents to work alongside with law enforcement to help reduce crime in their areas. So when a person gets involved in Neighborhood Watch, they would call us and we would set up a meeting and we would go out and educate, talk about what we would like people to do to help us in law enforcement to make, our city safer. So we would talk about what is suspicious. Not only what a person looks like walking around, but what are they doing that makes them suspicious. You can see somebody going down the street and maybe you don't like the way they're dressed or you don't like the way they look. But if they're just going through your neighborhood and they're not doing anything, there's no crime. But if you see that person and they start looking into windows, going up driveways, peering around, that's suspicious. And that's when that suspicious activity could be happening. They could be looking to commit a burglary. They could be casing to see if anyone's home. That's when neighbors need to be alerted and take notes as far as getting a description. If it's a vehicle that's parked out there and someone's been sitting out there like reading a newspaper for hours and it just doesn't seem right, you have that gut feeling. Take down the license number, go in and call the police department on our non-emergency number. Let us know what's going on. You just want people to get more involved. People usually are afraid to call the police or they don't want to bother us. And yet the next day they find out one of their neighbors had a burglary. And then when the police go and talk to some of the neighbors and said, gee, did you see someone? And they go, yeah, I saw this person and I thought it was just a relative or someone, And then they find out that the person had a burglary. So we encourage people to, just observe, be alert, and get as much information, be a good witness, and call and let us know so we can come out.
So if I wanted to become a Neighborhood Watch member, if there's already a Neighborhood Watch in existence in my neighborhood, or I wanted to start a Neighborhood Watch meeting, what kind of advice would you have for me?
Well, I would tell you to give me a call in my office, and we would talk a little bit about setting up a meeting. And then I usually tell the person that wants to get it going, why don't you talk to some of your neighbors? door knock and, tell them that you're interested in having a meeting and you want to get to know everyone. I think that's so important, to know who your neighbors are, know who lives in what homes. Maybe you also would identify the cars that belong to those houses if you can, the children that live in those homes. It's pulling together as a neighborhood, not only for crime prevention, but in case there was a major disaster or crisis, neighbors knowing each other, it makes it a lot more like a family. And during our first meetings, we would talk about all these things, what we would like them to do, and continue to meet regularly on their own, just getting together, having social events. It doesn't have to be just a law enforcement meeting, but for people to continue to meet each other and network. It's a great program, and we really encourage people to join up. Just give me a call and I'll get them set up for an appointment.
The phone number to call Mary in our COPS division is 818-548-4015. If you have any questions about Neighborhood Watch, or throughout the show we're going to talk about some of the services that are offered through the community policing division. That phone number will put you in touch with people that work in community policing, and they can help better direct you if need be for one of the programs that we're going to talk about. Before we move on to auto thefts, we're talking about cars being broken into, we're talking about houses being broken into, and I picture, on TV, you think, people break into houses at night wearing masks with holes cut in them for the eyes, and they wear gloves and have rope over their shoulder. Mauricio, is that the case, or is this something that may be a little less obvious to neighbors and, happened in broad daylight?
Well, I think it is a little less obvious to neighbors. They are happening in broad daylight. The typical burglar hours that we see are anything between the hours of 2 in the morning and 5 in the morning. However, they are happening in broad daylight. Many reports reflect that. Burglars are typically opportunists. They're walking up and down the street, they're unemployed, and they take advantage of anything left in the vehicle, or if they see an open window in a house, they'll take advantage of that as well. Many different motives to commit theft. There's unemployed, drug addiction, or they're gang related. They're putting in work for a gang that just joined or whatnot, or just because the opportunity presents itself. But if you make it easy for somebody, they will commit the crime.
Is there anything specific that people can look for? I talked about people that they don't recognize being in the neighborhood. Any other behaviors that you might be able to point out for the viewers at home to help heighten their awareness maybe of what's going on, things to look for?
Things to look for is people that you don't recognize that belong in your area. I think Mary touched on that. We all know after a while who lives in our street and who doesn't, what kind of cars are there and what cars are not there. If you see, say for example, somebody at 2 in the morning walking down the street wearing a hoodie over their head when it's still about 80 degrees at night because it's summer, and they've got a flashlight on there, you see them looking into cars, that should raise some red flags. That should have you calling the police. We don't encourage witnesses to get involved and try to apprehend these guys. We encourage them to be the best witnesses they can be. Just maybe write down what you see at the time and report it to the police as soon as possible.
I don't recall ever working in patrol and having somebody call us with a suspicious person in the middle of the night and us be disappointed to get to go to a call like that. I mean, it's always a great feeling when there's an alert neighbor to clue us into a crime as it's happening, to give us a chance to apprehend those suspects instead of taking a report the next day of a car that was broken into in the middle of the night.
I think it was a couple of months ago, Mary, right? You and I went to a neighborhood watch meeting.
That's right.
And as it was my first meeting as a detective, and it was really nice to see the neighborhood come together like that. They're very involved. It was a good turnout. We had 15 people there. It was good to see that these people care about their street and their neighbors, and they had some very good questions. And if they want to set up a meeting, we're more than happy to go out with Mary and talk to the club.
Yeah.
I'm sure the partnership with the community is key to helping to combat crime like this. Before we move on to talking about auto thefts, we're going to show a short public service announcement here in just a second, but I'd like to remind all the viewers at home, this is a live call-in show. We look forward to hearing from you, to answering your questions, talking about whatever concerns you might have. The phone number is 818-548-3344. Please give us a call. When we come back in a second, we'll talk about auto thefts and GTAs and hopefully some of the things that we can do to prevent those.
Did you know that a pedestrian is killed or injured in the United States every 7 minutes? Did you also know that the elderly and those who have been drinking alcohol are the most likely to be struck and killed by a vehicle? Drivers have a responsibility to look out for pedestrians. However, pedestrians have a responsibility to look out for drivers.
I'm Glendale Police Chief Randy Adams. When you're crossing the street, please remember these 3 steps. Wait, watch, and walk. And walk defensively. It may save your life.
I walk to school every day with my friend Liliana. My mom told me we should be careful and watch out for cars. She says a lot of people drive fast in the morning because they're late for school or work. They don't always pay attention to the people crossing the street. My mom says don't assume drivers see you. That's why when I come to a crosswalk, I always remember what Walking Willie says. Wait, watch, and walk. Please walk defensively. It may save your life.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
This is my town.
Welcome back to tonight's episode of Behind the Badge. We're talking about burglary and theft trends. I have with me Detective Barba and CSO Miach, and we've been talking about cars being broken into, houses being broken into. Let's talk a little bit about somebody stealing cars. We commonly refer to it as a GTA. You hear that term used. There's a video game by that name. It stands for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Mauricio, you guys investigate Grand Theft Autos also?
Yes, we do. We do. And I can say vehicle theft is no longer a crime committed by your average teenager just going out to joyride. It's actually a big business. It's ran by gangsters, organized crime, and they're out to make huge profits at our expense. In this country, an auto theft occurs maybe every 26 seconds, averaging out to about 1.2 million cars a year. Vehicle theft is this nation's #1 property crime. It's estimated to cost the industry at $7.6 billion a year. Now, most people just sit back and say, well, I've never had my car stolen, so it really doesn't affect me. It actually does, simply because the $7.6 billion, we're actually paying out hundreds of dollars more in insurance premiums every year than we would otherwise if these crimes weren't happening. Current recovery rate right now for a vehicle is 62%. 62% of cars are being recovered. The cars that aren't being recovered either shipped out of the country to various countries, stripped out of chop shops here, or the parts are sold at crooked body shops. We're seeing that commonly right now. We're in conducting our own business inspections. We're seeing a real spike in stolen vehicle parts, stolen engines, stolen transmissions at these body shops or auto dismounters. They're even resold to unsuspecting customers. So I can steal a car and clear up the paperwork and resell it to somebody else, and they have no idea they're buying a stolen car. That's the sad part. Vehicle theft is driven by money and greed, and it victimizes everyone. It's not just the problem of the person who's got their car stolen. That's about it.
Sounds like a pretty big problem that, unless you have it happen to you, you may not really appreciate the impact it has. I know I once came out to find my motorcycle was no longer there.
Right.
And thinking to myself, boy, I hope it got towed. And certainly it didn't. It was stolen. And it took 5 days or so to get it back, and it was completely demolished. So I know the feeling, and I know that once it happens to you, you realize how violating it can feel, especially if you have personal items in your car, which we just told you not to keep in your car. Are thieves looking for certain things when they target vehicles to steal?
They're looking for specific vehicles. Most organized crimes know what kind of crime rings know what kind of cars you're looking for. The National Insurance Crime Bureau every year puts down a list of the top 10 vehicles being stolen in this country. Number 1 is going to be the Honda Civic. 2 is the Toyota Camry. 3 is the Honda Accord. Number 4, the Dodge Caravan. Now, these vehicles are, based on my experience, very easy to steal, simply because the manufacturer didn't really put much effort, it seems like, into building in these anti-theft devices, such as a smart key. Those aren't happening until recently with the new cars coming out. We also got the Chevy CK 1500 pickup being stolen, the Ford F-150, Dodge Ram pickup, and the Acura Integra. That's a big one. Toyota pickups and Nissan Sentras round off the list. And the NICB, National Insurance Crime Bureau, it's a not-for-profit organization. It receives support from approximately 1,000 insurance companies. All these insurance companies basically got together and said, hey, what can we do to combat vehicle theft, because we're losing a lot of money. So they put together this organization who works in partnership with us very closely in combating vehicle theft.
Do you find that the appearance of the vehicle may have a role in whether or not the car is stolen, aftermarket modifications to it, things of that nature?
That may play a big role. You can have the stock vehicle stolen, or you can have this nice Honda Civic on shiny new rims with the spoiler and the nice stereo system in it stolen as well. That's probably going to be stolen for the parts. But the crooks know what they're looking for, and just like anything else, if something's eye-catching, they're going to take it.
Aside from some of the basic things that we talked about earlier, locking your vehicles, are there things that people can do to help reduce the odds of their car being stolen?
There's basic things that you can do. First of all, you can make sure your car is locked, make sure the keys are left out of the ignition and not in the car. I'm sure there's many people out there that like to keep a spare key in their glove compartment. We advise you not do that. Then you can always get the vehicle alarm, the audible alarm. There's always the club, the steering wheel device. And you can go so far as actually getting a LoJack on your car, a tracking system, so that when your car is reported stolen, we can track it through GPS and recover it.
I know that from working in patrol, LoJack seems pretty effective, as well as some of the other tracking systems. And in some cases, I know that they'll reduce your insurance premiums if you have something like that on your vehicle, because you're helping to combat auto theft, which in turn saves the insurance companies money. That's a hot topic, combating vehicle theft, because it happens so frequently.
Yeah, but these tracking systems are very successful. LoJack alone has a 90% recovery rate, and according to them, you can actually lower your premiums maybe 35%, depending on the state or area where you live. But a 90% recovery rate, that's pretty good.
Certainly a pretty good incentive to have that on your vehicle, especially if you have personal belongings in your car, which we talked about not having. I'd like to remind everyone we haven't had a caller yet tonight, and was hoping to get one by now, but the phone number is 818-548-3344. Let's move on and talk a little bit more about residential burglaries. Mary, I know that you deal with some of the services that the department offers to help combat that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. First of all, people usually call us after they've been a victim of a crime, let's say a residential burglary. And it's unfortunate, because that's what crime prevention is all about. It's being proactive, not reactive. However, we always have the person that, all of a sudden, oh, my house got burglarized. What can I do? So First thing is I tell them that we offer free home security checks, where I would go out and do a complete inspection of their home, or it could be an apartment or condo, and I'll look at their doors, look at the type of locks they have, I'll look at windows, I'll check basements. If there's a second-story house, I'll check balconies. I look at the garages. I mean, just every detail. I will go through their homes and let them know what they can do to harden the target. There is no guarantee that you can do everything. You can add all your security, add an alarm, but if someone really wants in, they'll get in. But you want to make it harder for that prospective criminal out there. So I would make recommendations to them on what they can do to make it harder for someone to get in. Just your basic hardware, whether it's locks, an extra deadbolt lock on a door, or a sliding bolt lock on a French window, whatever it is, I'll make recommendations, and hopefully they'll follow up and do everything. Then the next step would be, if they are interested in an alarm, I would make a recommendation for them to at least get 3 referrals and have them come out after I've done my inspection, and have them come out and go through their home and give them some quotes. And if they want to upgrade, that's fine, but they still have to have the basic hardware done. And then the other good thing is neighborhood watch. So I would convince them to have a neighborhood watch meeting, and let's get everyone here involved. Let's be proactive. Let's stop the crime before it starts.
Now, you talked about going out to someone's house and inspecting it from top to bottom.
Right.
What does that charge? What does that cost?
It's free. It's a free service that we offer.
All they have to do is call 818-548-4015. We'll make this infomercial style here. 818-548-4015, our COPS unit.
That's right.
And ask, Mary, I need someone to come out and take a look at my house and see how burglar-proof it is.
That's right. Just a phone call. We accommodate all schedules. We're very flexible. So if they have the time, we're available. And we also do commercial security checks, where we'll go out to a business that's, let's say, it's been burglarized, or maybe they just want me to come out and do an inspection. So it's not only residential, it's commercial. And I can do an inspection and give them ideas. Best in commercial buildings, lighting, gates, parking lot situations. There's a lot of areas that we cover. And I usually guarantee that I will find one thing that they need to improve on. So all they have to do is just give me a call, and we'll set up an appointment. And it doesn't take, hours. It's, so we can accommodate anyone's schedule.
Oh, wow.
Great service.
Sounds like a really good service. I'm sold, except I don't live in the city of Glendale.
Ah.
Before we move on to other things, we're talking about property crimes tonight. We're going to show a short video here in a second on shredding mail. I work in identity theft and financial crimes, and I think it's really key that people do as much as they can to prevent crime. And one of those things is shredding your mail. We talked about leaving items with personal information inside your vehicle. Car gets broken into, it may not be your stereo they're after. It may be the bag on the seat that has your Social Security card and your credit cards inside, and you may become the victim of an identity theft on top of a vehicle burglary. So we're going to watch a short video on taking care of your mail and personal information, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about some of the other trends we're seeing.
The fastest growing crime trend in the United States today is identity theft. All a thief needs is a few pieces of your personal information to open an account in your name. Common ways thieves can get your financial information are account statements and credit card applications discarded in the trash, phishing schemes in which thieves pose as legitimate businesses and request confirmation of your information, and credit cards scanned at gas stations, ATMs, and retail stores. Some simple ways you can protect yourself include shredding all new account applications and documents containing personal information, regularly request a copy of your credit report from 3 reporting agencies, contact credit reporting agencies and have them alert you when new accounts appear, and never give out your personal information without confirming the business or persons requesting it. Always keep in mind there are criminals that are always trying to outsmart you. Protect yourself. Stay one step ahead of them.
Welcome back, everyone. We kind of overlooked something a second ago. We talked about coming out to the house to burglar-proof it. Well, let's say I'm going on vacation. Mary, do you have anything to help take care of that? There's not going to be anybody around to watch my house while I'm gone.
Sure. I'm going to recommend a few things. One is still to have that free home security check to make sure you've done everything. Second, to alert your neighbors that you're going to be gone so that they can pick up junk mail or anything, newspapers or anything left outside. And that's what's good about Neighborhood Watch. Get your neighbors involved to keep an eye on your home. Thirdly, we have a great volunteer program. It's the RSVP's Retired Senior Volunteer Patrol. And these are dedicated, fantastic people that volunteer their time to work with law enforcement. And what they do is they go out and do vacation checks. So they will check around your home and see if there's any screens off windows or doors unopened. And they do this during the week when residential burglary is the highest, during the daytime. So all you need to do is give us a call in community policing, and we will ask you several questions, when you're going to be gone, and do you have gates that are locked, and what cars will be in the driveway, so that we know exactly what's going on. And just take a simple phone call.
Now, we're watching a video here, and it's got a couple of our senior volunteers here checking the doorknobs and checking the perimeter of the house. Now, they're doing this to basically make sure that this property is safe and that nothing is out of order or nothing appears to be suspicious. Or maybe you didn't close a window before you left to go on vacation. Is that about right, Mary?
That's right. Absolutely. They're just making sure that nothing looks like it's been tampered with. And once they've made their check, they'll record it and go to the next location. Now, if they notice there's a window open or glass broken, they will immediately get on their portable radios and they will call patrol, and we'll have an officer come out to their location to investigate further.
Seems like a pretty valuable service to have, especially for the citizens, you know, that maybe travel for business or are away from home for extended periods of time. And to set one of these vacation checks up, they would just call your office at the 818-548-4015 number. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And they just call and say, these are the dates that I'm going to be gone, and
Right.
I need you to come out and check my house?
Right. They just, we just ask that if you're going to be gone 3 days or longer to call in and give us at least a day notice so we can, you know, get the paperwork ready to go. I mean, it's one of the best services we offer. And our RSVPs are in pairs of 2. They do wear a khaki uniform and are in a white marked car so that neighbors and other people know that they're okay.
Well, all right. That sounds pretty handy. Well, folks, the phone number is 818-548-3344. We're going to move on here and talk about confidence scams. Mauricio, it seems like you guys investigate everything. Confidence scams, what are they?
Confidence scams they go by many different names. Another name would be a distraction burglary. Very big, very hot topic right now. Glendale was actually just recently in the news regarding these type of distraction burglaries. We had a big case. We had a couple, male and female, walk up to a house. And I bring this crime up because it's typically how they're carried out. Female knocks on the door. The elderly female comes to the door, says, "Yes, can I help you?" The female actually says, "Oh, hi, you know, I used to live in this house. I'm just kind of remembering, you know, the neighborhood, and I moved a long time ago. I'm wondering if I can come in and just kind of see the house because I miss it. I grew up here." Well, it seems like our victim trusted this female a little too much. Actually let her inside the house. While she was inside talking to her in the hallway, the male comes by and goes inside, goes into the dresser, and takes jewelry and money, and off they go. Of course, typically when you're dealing with elderly people, it's going to take them a while to realize, hey, you know, I've been ripped off. Something's missing, my jewelry, my money. And by that time, once they report it, you know, days later, even months later, there's not much more we can do if there's no physical evidence. But it's important for people to realize that these crimes are really targeted towards the elderly, and some of the things that they can do to protect themselves would be to just don't let anybody in your house. Another case or scenario would be two males, one male come to the door saying, "Hi, yeah, you know, I'm a tree trimmer. I noticed you have big trees in the backyard. You know, I want to see about cutting those trees. You know, I can give you a good price." So of course, you know, they're let inside the house, go to the backyard, and takes just a quick text message on the phone, say, "Hey, I'm in the backyard. Go ahead and do your thing." Then his partner in crime comes inside the house and just takes whatever he wants, and they're in constant communication the whole time. And it's pretty unfortunate that we have people out there, you know, victimizing the elderly only because they know they can.
These scams sound pretty well thought out and pretty well executed, if you ask me. You know, to have the homeowner actually there while they're burglarizing the house seems kind of risky, but I imagine they do this enough times, they have it down to a science, and there's probably several variations of that. We have a short video that we're going to show here in just a second on confidence scams. Then we'll come back and we'll talk about this a little bit more, because there's quite a few variations of these things, and there's some things that people can look for to help prevent these. It may not be preventing it from happening to you, but it may be helping to prevent it from happening to an elderly neighbor you have, or something like that. But we'll go ahead and show the video and hopefully take a few calls when we get back. I'd like to remind everyone the phone number is 818-548-3344. Give us a call, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this.
Hey, look, this one's for sale.
Oh, I think you should call them. Let's see if they're home. It's 818-222-1111.
Hello? Hi. Are you selling a gray SUV? Well, we're outside your house right now. We're wondering if maybe we could take a look at it, maybe do a test drive? Yes, we're outside. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. He's going to be out right now.
Perfect.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Very good. How are you
You
doing?
just got your car, huh?
Yes.
Good.
Hi.
I'm Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Mark. This is my wife, Jennifer.
Hi. Happy to meet you. My husband, Frank.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey.
We moved down the street a couple weeks ago, and we've seen your car for sale here, and we were just wondering how much you'd be selling it for.
About 67,
68.
68.
Okay, and what year is it?
Flexible.
It's a 2001.
Okay, great. And I saw on the sign it says low mileage. What's the mileage on it?
About 80, a little over 87 pounds.
Okay, that is pretty low. Do you think maybe I could test it out, maybe drive it down the street?
Well, sure.
Okay, great.
Good. Shall I come with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to come too?
No, I'll stay here.
All right,
Okay.
fine.
We'll be right back.
I have it, yeah.
My, it's pretty chilly out here, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Do you mind if I use the ladies' room?
Not at all. I won't take
Thank
in
you.
there.
So I noticed the Marine stickers.
Yeah.
Were you in the Marines?
I was in the Marines World War II. And
My brother's there now.
oh, I don't envy you at all.
So, which way to the restroom?
Right straight back.
Okay, thank you.
So what did you think of it?
It's great. It drives like it's brand new.
Oh, well, it practically is.
Great. It's a great car.
No,
I really liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and discuss it, and we'll be in contact with you tomorrow. We just live down the street now, so
Well,
we know where you guys are at.
Good.
Very good.
Good.
All right, thanks a whole lot.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good. Nice
Thank you.
meeting you. Nice
Neighbors.
meeting you.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
you're welcome.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Honey? I can't find my ring.
Did you look on your dresser?
I'm looking right now. I can't find it. It's gone.
Folks, what we just saw there is a demonstration, if you will, of what a confidence scam might look like. That one involved a car for sale, two elderly people selling the car. Elderly gentleman turns his back, and while the female's inside his house, she takes some belongings. Mauricio, is that basically what takes place in a case like this?
Yes, that is what takes place, and I think the phrase confidence scams speaks for itself. As you see there, the key for the suspects in these types of crimes is to win the confidence of the unsuspecting victims. In this scenario, we had a couple, an elderly couple, however, say there's a elderly female or elderly male at home alone who lives alone, who doesn't have any company, who likes company over. That's a perfect target. Simply because that type of person is going to want to have that conversation and show them around the house and just talk. And our suspects are going to pick up on that, and that's when they're going to strike.
Now, what are some of the things that people can look for? Obviously, these people appear to be normal, average citizens looking to buy a car. But it's exactly the opposite. They're actually criminals casing their victims, being selective in who they're going to target, making sure that the right setting is present before they actually follow through with the crime. Are there things that people can look for or things that people can do to help prevent this? I mean, maybe set off some detectors in their mind that maybe something's not right?
Well, I think it goes to the old adage of never talk to strangers. I think we seem to, especially living in these more affluent neighborhoods, these quiet neighborhoods, people get lulled into this false sense of security, it seems like. We really need to be mindful of people that don't belong on the street. And when I say that, what I mean is people who normally aren't seen on that street, who don't live on that street. I think people need to question, what's this person doing here? They need to be on alert. They can't just open their door to anybody anymore. It's just the world we live in. And it's not something that's just particular to Glendale. It's happening everywhere, all across the country.
I can imagine that half of these could probably be prevented simply by not letting these people into your house. I'm very territorial about my house, and only my friends come inside. I wouldn't let certain people walk into my house if I didn't know them. But I imagine the elderly are a little more welcoming.
They are very welcoming because, like I said, they don't have the people coming over to their house. Maybe their families moved away. Maybe they're just alone. So they're very lonely people just looking for some company. They'd be happy to talk to anybody they can.
Now, we discussed a couple different scenarios. You and I both have training on some of these things that are currently taking place, these confidence scams. Let's briefly talk about some of the different variations of it. We have the tree trimming. They go to the back. I've seen contractor-type confidence scams where they show up with excess materials from a job site that doesn't exist, offering you a great price or something like that, merely to engage you in conversation. Do they impersonate city workers, people in some official capacity ever, or anything like that, service companies?
They certainly do. They'll get access to Southern California Edison shirts, SoCal Gas Company shirts, even City of Glendale shirts. They'll put these shirts on, and they'll even actually go as far as getting decals for their cars and coming up with a clipboard, and they look like the real deal, but they're not. And in terms of other variations, I think the most alarming case that I've ever come across was where a female actually walks to the door with a baby and says, my baby needs a new diaper, can I come in and change the diaper? Well, not many people are going to say no to that, simply because there's a mother and a baby in need, supposedly. So they'll be allowed inside the house while their partner waiting around the corner comes in once they're distracted.
These seem pretty harmless, you know. I'm in need of a restroom, as we saw in the video. I need to change my baby, and sometimes people might feel hesitant, I imagine, to turn someone down when they're in need. But at the same time, I mean, the scams that we've talked about tonight are happening on a daily basis and in great amounts. I mean, we're talking jewelry, money, belongings, personal information. So that kindness that may stem from, you know, for some people it may just be that they're naive about some of the scams that are taking place, but that kindness coupled with a bit of naiveness about what's taking place, you know, it sets the perfect opportunity up for these people to make off with quite a bit. Mary, any advice at all on scams of this nature? I mean, aside from just being observant?
Well, a couple of things I would recommend, especially if you're selling a car. Maybe you want to go through a company that sells it on the lot, so you don't have to have people come into your private home. Or if you advertise, meet them in a public location, not at your residence. That's one thing. As far as someone coming to the door, what I tell my neighborhood watch people is, you know, just be a good witness, get a good description, and don't let anyone inside. If they're selling something, tell them you're not interested. You don't have to open the door, just peer out through the window, but let them know you're home. And if they say they have an emergency, say, you know what, I'll call the police and we'll have someone come out and help you. There's really an emergency. And usually that'll take care of that person. So just be on the alert and just, you know, use common sense and practices like that. Ask for identification. In the city of Glendale, you have to have a permit to solicit door-to-door. So if they don't have a permit in the city of Glendale, then something's not right. And don't let them in. Make sure your door is locked, and call the police.
Sounds like some really good advice, but I know that this will probably continue to happen as long as there are people out there that are willing to be nice and maybe overlook some of the signs or some of the key things that we see, because we see this on a day-to-day basis. And I would hope that the viewers at home that are seeing this would tell their friends, tell their family, tell their elderly relatives especially that they need to be more mindful in who they allow in their house, who they talk to, who they deal with on a day-to-day basis, because yeah, it really hits hard when this happens to the elderly, and unfortunately they're the ones being targeted. We're just about out of time, and it's been a fun evening. We've talked a lot about property crimes and some crime prevention. If you have any questions we haven't answered, Detective Mauricio Barba is available at 818-548-3127. He works in our burglary and auto theft detail. CSO Mary Miach is part of our community policing unit. She's available at 818-548-4015. If you have any questions about crime prevention, neighborhood watch, the senior volunteer program, the Citizens Academy, which we didn't even get to talk about tonight, please give her a call and ask her those questions. We're here, we're available to talk to you about your problems anytime, just about. I want to thank both of you for being on the show, and tonight when we sign off, we're going to show a short video to end the show. It's a video of a memorial service that was done here at the Glendale Police Department on May 15th for National Law Enforcement Memorial Day, a day to recognize law enforcement officers who have paid the ultimate price in the line of duty. We'll go ahead and sign off with that video. We thank you for tuning in tonight.
Today we come to honor Glendale police officers who have fallen in the line of duty. Our 4 fallen brothers gave their best that the community they so cherished could live and prosper. Today we also join as one to remember other members of our family who passed away this year. We think of retired Glendale Police Lieutenant William Chambers, who served with this department from 1949 to 1978. Senior volunteer Penny Hansen devoted more than 50 hours a month to volunteer service to our department, and Sergeant Jack Meyer will always be remembered for his honorable service from 1987 to 2008.
I am honored to be with you here today to to remember not only the fallen members of the Glendale Police Department, but really to honor and recognize all of those who have served or are serving our community. Let me suggest to you that service as a police officer can and will enrich an individual's spirit as nothing else possibly can provide. It can provide you with that rare sense of nobility that only springs from the love and selflessness of helping your fellow man.
Town Marshal Charles Whitney Smith was killed in the line of duty on January 9th, 1915. Marshal Charles Smith exemplified the professionalism and dedication of the Glendale Police Department. He acted courageously in the face of danger and gave his life trying to protect the citizens of Glendale. Officer Leslie O. Clem was killed in the line of duty on May 26, 1926. Officer Clem was a courageous and dedicated officer who at great personal risk attempted to apprehend a fleeing suspect. He gave his life protecting the citizens of Glendale. Officer John Isaacson was killed in the line of duty on May 19, 1972. John's actions were unselfish and protective of others. He gave his life by taking action that kept others from being hurt. Investigator Chuck Lazaretto was killed in the line of duty on May 27, 1997. Investigator Lazaretto was awarded the Medal of Valor posthumously for his heroic devotion to duty in attempting to track down and arrest a violent individual, laying down his life so others may live in safety.
Hey!